9. Today is our 9th session for this webinar. The topic is recent changes in new ITR forms 2020, and the speaker for the day is CA Nakul Arora ji from Ghaziabad. Introduction for I request to start with the sumoto of ICAI.
Request everyone to stand up for ICAI motto.
Just please start code of ethics. Good evening all. Welcome for the today's webinar. Before giving introduction for the today's speaker CA Nakul Arora ji, there is one announcement. Tomorrow we had a lecture 9th August from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Topic is relaxation amidst COVID-19 under Companies Act 2013 and Director's Report by speaker CS Rima Jain. She is also one of the dynamic speaker. Now coming for the today's session, CA Nakul ji, a young and dynamic chartered accountant. I request CA Rajesh Poddar ji to kindly on the today's.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. Good evening, friends and seniors in the profession. We have today CA Nakul Arora, a young and dynamic speaker for today's session on recent changes in new ITR forms 2020. Friends, Nakul Arora is a chartered accountant and into practice in Ghaziabad. He is a public speaker at various forums. He has been practicing direct taxes as a consultant, tax auditor, as well as he is precision representative of his clients before various authorities of income tax. With these few words, let us welcome today's speaker, CA Nakul Arora ji. Friends, one more thing. Yesterday, I was just filling ITR software, ITR 2. In LTCG, it was asking ISI number for each and every step, and it is so time-consuming and lengthy process. So last year also, CBDT has come out and made it optional. This year also, hope they come out with FAQs and make it optional. Otherwise, it will be very time-consuming. One more thing, sir, friends. Nakul Arora ji had some personal emergency today. Still, he had made a commitment to AOSC's Zoom seminar. Thank you, sir, for your commitment, and we welcome you for today's seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the warm introduction. Very kind words of yours. Please allow me when I can begin.
Please carry on, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Here we go. All right. Hi, everyone. I have had a wonderful introduction from Mr. Rajesh Pradhan. Thank you so much. Thank you for the entire coordination, C. Amish Sangoiji, and all the members present on the forum, and all the participants. Thank you so much for tuning into the session today. Well, this seminar has been going on from like the number of times I have taken changes in ITR forms and 26 AS 2020. I think it's more than 5 times that between professional members we've had this conversation. Ek baat samajhna, which is very important, that this topic should not be studied in the perspective of what are the changes, what changes are we going to tackle. Rather, what we need to do, we need to look at it with the perspective that what is the impact of every change into the day-to-day accounting process. Jo everyday accounting process is a process that you are going to follow while writing the books of accounts, while creating your balance sheet, while you are preparing the client's client's financial results. You will have to take care of certain points which has to be told later on. So what are we going to study? We're going to take a change and we will understand why that change has been put in place and what exactly does the department have its eyes on. So let's begin with the changes that we have observed in 26 AS. We'll begin with 26 AS. No longer 26 AS can be called as annual tax statement. Now it is annual information statement. Sirf namkaran, it's not just a change of name, it's a huge change. Honestly speaking, the old 26 AS, which is still active, is not more than 25% of the entire 26 AS that is going to be from this year. 1st June 2020 made this effective. However, practically speaking, we are in August and this is not 100% applicable because there's a lot of clarification required on SFTs, like specified financial transactions. What they are, we'll discuss it within 5 minutes. So it's a wide concept, wider than before, way wider. I told you it's like 4 times of what it previously used to be. So here we go. TDS and TCS was the information that we used to get in the previous 26 years, right? Now, we will also get to know that if there is the advanced tax, self-assessment tax, or the tax that has been paid on assessment, कोई assessment के बाद अगर tax पे हुआ है, यानी कि there was some cases going on. What I was telling is, to everybody, when I'm taking seminars for professionals, not business community, because business lobby does not have interest in the manner we have in this information, the details of pending and completed proceedings. Now, what happens is whenever you go to a doctor, you take out a kind of a form or a kind of reports which you had with the previous doctor, or what is the condition of your body at the present moment. There are many times clients come to our office, they keep on getting information, they keep on getting new aspects of their books, edited, and new things begin into their accounts. And sometimes, because we do not have the information that there was any proceeding that was pending against them, or there was any demand that is pending, or there's a refund that is pending to this particular assessee, the correct assessment of the assessee by the assessment is not here. The assessment that I said is not from the Income Tax Act. This word assessment here is totally about the assessment a chartered accountant or a tax consultant makes of the client that has been added to their, to the file room. People who have audio is not very clear. Can anyone confirm if they can hear me clearly? Hello?
And now it's more, you can
Is
just,
it okay now?
yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfectly, all right. So now let's understand. Abhi, when a client comes to your office, what you want to know is, purani file utha daiye. This is the first thing that we say. Bring us the file that you had with your previous consultant or the paperwork you had with them. Now, the biggest problem in switching your consultant used to be that we did not get the information that we required, because everybody has different priorities. Everybody has different things that they maintain in a soft copy, and it's a different thing that they maintain in a hard copy. So rather, it is going to ensure that you will get the information of all the pending assessments, demands, and refunds. Now, talking about the other issues, now this is a simple information that 3 months from the end of the month of receipt of information. Now, not when the transaction actually happens, but when the information is received by the department, then the Director General of Income Tax or the person authorized will upload them. Now, talking about that, if there's any foreign taxes or DTAA, earlier we were totally dependent on the information that we used to get. I guess there's a problem. Aditya and Amish, can you please check? There's a lot of messages of voice disturbance. All right, am I audible now? Properly audible? Then the information upload, we've known who will upload the information, how the information will get to the portal. Now, before we move on to the key changes to the tax forms, does anybody have anything in their mind they want to know about the changes in 26AS? Any questions specific to 26AS? Or we should take the questions in the end altogether. Chat pay, you can give me a message in the end, or we just have some questions about 26AS specifically. All right, moving on. Okay, moving on. Let's just take up the questions in the end. Like, let's understand what all forms that we need to file in the income tax return, because I've seen it is surprising. Many times we are receiving files in our office which has a notice from the income tax of the form being wrongly selected, the wrong selection of your ITR form. And this is embarrassing because the information that is required to choose your ITR form is extremely simple. You just need to ensure that you are following simple steps and you will never face trouble in selecting your ITR form. Like for example, ITR1 is also known as SEH. Now, what is ITR1? We all know salaried individual, but we also need to remember that there should be 50 lakh of a slab. If the income, the salary, the annual earning of the person, that is annual earning. Now, let's imagine here, a person comes in with a salary of 48 lakh rupees, like a package of 48 lakhs, which is taxable. And then he has a bank interest of 2.5 lakhs. So his total earning is 50 lakh 50,000, which makes him ineligible to choose ITR1. Now there should be agricultural income less than 5,000 rupees for the entire year. It's not monthly, it's annually. And honestly speaking, even if you have 1 acre of a land in a proper agricultural property, you would get an agricultural income above that. Most people choose not to declare agricultural income because that is an exempt income under section 10. But if we understand the process of filing of the return, you're not allowed to ignore filing return just because you have agriculture. You're not allowed to not disclose agricultural income because it has a format. You have to first add it. The slab has to be appropriately selected, and only then you can file your income tax return. Then, if you do not have business and profession gains, usually ITR2 को in the layman language बोले या फिर we have the small slang in the northern region. NCR में अपन के पास एक slang है कि धंधे की भाषा में बोले तो capital gain की return. ITR2 generally बोला भी जाता है और होता भी यही है, जिसका कैपिटल गेन हो जाता है भूले भटके वो ITR2 भरता है, तो ITR2 इसीलिए पॉपुलर रिटर्न्स में रहती है. बट PGBP के अलावा कोई भी इनकम होगी ITR2 आप भर सकते हैं. और उसके बाद आते हैं ITR3 पे. ITR3 again it's for individuals and HUF. PGBP return. ITR4 ये छोटा बच्चा है, इसका एक प्यारा सा नाम है सुबह. और ये जो दो छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं ITR1 which is सहज and ITR4 which is सुगम, अब जिन बच्चों के निकनेम होते हैं ना, सबसे ज्यादा बदमाशी भी उन्हीं के साथ की जाती है. ये दो फॉर्म्स को सबसे ज्यादा मिसयूज किया जाता है. सबसे ज्यादा कंसल्टेंट्स, नॉन क्वालिफाइड एंड ineligible consultants, I will use the word ineligible very clearly, non-qualified, anybody who can operate a computer tries to file a return, misuses two forms, Sahaj and Sugam. Sugam is again for a 44 AD return is usually filed in it, but then all the returns which are to be filed under presumptive income basis, again total income has to be up to 50 lakh rupees. But here, if there's a director who has invested in unlisted equity shares, जो भी डायरेक्टर का अनलिस्टेड इक्विटी शेयर्स में इन्वेस्टमेंट है, यानी कि कोई भी इंडिविजुअल का या कोई इंसान जो डायरेक्टर है किसी कंपनी का, वो ITR4 आने वाले समय में नहीं भर पाएगा. दिस इज द रीसेंट चेंज दैट वाज अनाउंस्ड. देन मूविंग ऑन, ITR5 again, we call this this is for company, this is for special persons and trust, and everyone gets to file this return on a usual basis talking. Then ITR6 को हम बोलते हैं कंपनी का ITR जो होता है, other than the companies claiming exemption under section 11. Okay, so moving on, ITR7 again, ये 139 4A 4B 4C and 4D अगर आपको याद आ रहा है तो मेडिकल कॉलेजेस जितने भी होते हैं, schools, these all are qualified to file returns under ITR 7. This is basically the special returns who are mandatorily required to file a return regardless of their income and their structure. So these are the form selections. If you have a question, make a note of it. We'll take it up in the end, because if you are clear about the selection, then the rest is just a cakewalk for you maybe. ITR 5 is simple. It's the acknowledgement. Now, everybody who has to file an ITR has to do it digitally, except super senior citizens. Abhi 80 years plus, why exactly? To be honest, 80 years plus, there would be hardly a few individuals who are filing their returns themselves, but still they've given them an option of, using a manual proceeding. Maybe there's somebody who has been filing their returns from the last 60, 70 years on a manual format, and they are very rigid towards change. I think we should not really, that should not really matter to us. Please update these dates. This is not 1st April to 30th June. This is 1st April to 30th August now. यहाँ पे, when we are filing returns, abhi whosoever has filed their returns for this year, they know that they're getting a question that have you made any investment between this period? First of all, if you have, abhi we were all trying to be outsmart. Many clients come with a Google ka gyan. Google, so they read things and people suggest inappropriate solutions to their appropriate problems. Now what they do is, many people were thinking that what we'll do is we will get an LIC this year between 1st April to 30th June, claim a deduction this year and claim the deduction of that next year as well. So now, sir, that is a little difficult because if you have made an investment between this period, you are clearly asked a question. First, have you done it? Yes. And if you say yes, you would have to declare that are you willing to use the benefit of section 80C this year, or would you want to take it to the next year? So before anybody plans any fancy schemes around this, this is not tax planning, this is tax evasion, to be honest. So moving on, the sections 54 to section 54F, which is also extended. This is for benefit of capital gain. If there is, because I had this call today from a client, so I'm just telling everybody, if anybody has to, open a CG account, capital gains account, scheme account, please get that done before 31st of August so that your client will not suffer. Now, who are not allowed to file ITR 1? I have already shared the people who are directors, people who have invested in unlisted equity shares, and as well as people who have been receiving dividends from domestic companies. You are no longer eligible to file ITR 1, and who have joint ownerships of a house property. Agar kisi bhi house property mein you have a joint ownership, half is yours and half is somebody else's, you're not allowed to file ITR 1 or ITR 4. Now, I told you, छोटे बच्चे हैं, ITR 1 and ITR 4, दोनों के nickname भी है छोटे छोटे प्यारे प्यारे, सहज और सुगम. What are we doing with them? We are exploiting these kids. So now the government has taken strict, there are strict instructions about these forms, and wrong forms ka notice is one of the most embarrassing notices for any consultant if it is issued. Okay, moving on. Now comes the important part. This is how these direct questions are being asked. But one thing which I want to share, and rather I want to say, you have to declare these things if you are filing returns because of these reasons. Not just that you have to declare this, but you have to file a return mandatorily, even if your aggregate total income does not exceed the basic amount chargeable to tax, which is 2,50,000, and somehow that has been 2,50,000 from a decade now, maybe. But if the aggregate deposit into your bank account is 1 crore in one or more current account, again, this is one or more. So this is going to be taken aggregately. People were asking me a question that agar hum ek current account mein 50 dalein, dusre mein 50 dalein, no, you're not doing that. They're saying one or more aggregate amount. So the total has to be below 1 crore. Then you do not declare. If the total is more than 1 crores, you have to make a declaration. Then if there is an expenditure exceeding 2 lakhs for travel to a foreign country for yourself or for any person. Now I'm going to quickly answer the questions that have been asked to me in previous seminars. And if you have these questions, so they'll be answered right now. Sir, is a person who is incurring expenses to invite his dependent parents abroad to meet him, still is he required to declare? Yes. Is a person incurring expenses for a medical dependent required to declare under this declaration? Yes. Pehli baat you need to understand, they're not asking you for any tax. They're not asking you for a penalty fee or anything in the world that might be. They're just asking you to declare. Just tell them that you've done it. But here's something we need to understand. This clearly indicates that the government is now taking a close look on your foreign travel. I mean, we all have those clients who have a gross total income below the taxable limit. Every time they're not even paying a single penny of tax. But when you check their foreign travels, they are going. What about travel expenses for business purpose? Mr. Gupta, that is the most important aspect of this, why they are asking you to declare. Abhi personal travel se to they are going to catch people who are not filing or filing a lower income. Their main target is business people. Hota kya hai, we have a lot of people who visit different countries, right? And they go for business tours. Then there is a lot of ways by which they start doing their business, but they do not declare the equivalent amount of income. So now income tax can actually ask you a question that if you've spent like 5 lakhs on your foreign travel and you say that you've made less than 1 lakhs in the last 5 years, that does not make sense. So the investigation can be done that if there is any connection to that foreign land which is directly or indirectly benefiting the directors of the company or the owners or the people in charge of the company. Moving on, expenditure on electricity bill. Abhi electricity bill 1 lakh. You need to understand, if you live in a household of 4 or less people, just have an idea that do you actually incur more than 1 lakh rupees in a year? I'm sure your answer is going to be no. Even if you say when my AC starts, it's 10,000 rupees a month. Sir, even if your AC is running, it's running for 4 months, not for an entire year. It is going to be around 1 lakh. And nobody wants to catch people just ahead of the borderline. They want to catch people who say that they live in a house. They do not have any other commercial activity going on inside the house. But if you see 4 lakhs of a bill inside a household of 4 people, you have to have an idea that the government, that this person incurring 4 lakhs on electricity might have an undisclosed business running from that household. What I want to say here is, now clearly understand what we need to do. This is what is, I told you, we are not going to talk about the headings. We're going to talk about the impact. The impact of this, that if they have incurred an expenditure of an amount exceeding 1 lakh. So we clearly know that the government is inquisitive, at least they're inquisitive to know that what exactly is the relationship between your electricity consumption and the sale that you declare and the amount that you declare as your own turnover or profits. Now, what we need to do is, what are we doing from the last few years? I know most of us, what are we doing? We always align the electricity expenses to the turnover. That what percentage of the turnover was the electricity expense last year? Let's make it the same percentage. So we're not considering the cost of electricity going up and down. We're not acknowledging the cost of goods sold going up and down. We're not acknowledging the sale price of the goods going up and down. What exactly do you need to find out? We need to go into the depth and align the right cost to the right matrix. ABC analysis यहाँ पर, ABC accounting है, activity based costing. Activity के हिसाब से उसका सही driver find कीजिए. अभी anybody who wants to, I'm not going to ask anybody answer me this question because it's, again, this is the limitation of the online seminars that we're not able to interact a lot with you guys. But then the only way that you can ensure your electricity expenses are always, or I should say more often than not, mostly correctly aligned to the right driver. The driver has to be the number of units produced to the number of units consumed, units of the product and units of electricity. Kitna product unit क्रिएट हुआ, कितना यूनिट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में, इन दोनों को अलाइन करना बहुत ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है। आप इंश्योर कीजिए कि सही अलाइनमेंट बिठाया जाए इन दोनों के बीच में। उसके बाद दिस इज एन इंटरनल ऑडिट अपडेट, सो फॉरेन ट्रैवल है, उसको भी अलाइन कीजिए। कैश डिपॉजिट ज्यादा हो रहे हैं, कहीं ना कहीं से कैश को अरेंज कीजिए, दिखाइए कि कैश क्यों डिपॉजिट हो रहा है, इतना कैश मूव हो रहा है और आप उस पर इनकम नहीं कर रहे हो, तो इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट इतनी आसानी से वो बात मानने वाला है नहीं। However, moving on, that now the passport number, if you hold a passport, you need to declare your passport number into both ITR 1, ITR 4, and ITR 2 and ITR 3. I'm sorry, ITR 2 and 3 is not written here, but they were not declared by the time this PPT was created, and I did not get a chance to update the PPT today. I'm so sorry. But now, if you have a passport, if there is held, if the assessee holds a passport, you need to disclose that passport into your ITR form, and we do not expect the same for ITR number 6 because it's a company's ITR, so companies do not have a passport. That's just a joke, and I can't even see anybody laughing because it's a webinar. Let's accept it. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry, I have a habit of joking around in the session, and I can't even see a single face. So you might see me a little haywire over the topic. Moving on. Let's move to the next change. Okay. If Aadhaar number is provided in ITR 4, then there's a new clause added, because we know that you can claim the income to be 6% instead of 8% if you have received that amount electronically. Pehle the word was through an electronic clearing system. Electronic clearing system se pehle agar aap karte the, only then it was considered, but now it is from an electronic mode. Abhi electronic mode bahut sare hote hain. Paytm is an electronic mode, but it's not an electronic clearance system. All right, moving on. In section 44A, where ये क्या है कि what happens is, अपन के साथ we've seen a lot of times that law says something and the portal makes us do the exact opposite of it. ये यही हो रहा था, law में clear word था, the number of vehicles should not exceed 10 vehicles at any time during the assessment, during the previous year. However, there was a maximum, bro. Abhi kya tha? You can only declare a certain 10 number of vehicles. But what about if a person has 8 vehicles, buys 4 vehicles during the year, disposes 4 vehicles, but at any time during the previous year, the number of vehicles he had did not exceed 10 vehicles. So he can only declare 10. This was a lacuna in the internet portal. Your ITR portal, online e-filing of income tax portal, had a lacuna which has been removed. So this is not a huge change, nothing to go very haywire about it. It's just a lacuna. The law already had the same words, and now these words have been given a special respect on the portal as well. Moving on. This is a kind of a change that might have a very important purpose, but I would really ask any of you, because any of my previous seminars, nobody gave me the answer to this, and any one of you can enlighten me that if it has any important significance in the ITR filing process. But the details of the government employees, I just opened it myself and I realized that the government employees have now been bifurcated into state, central, and a new type of NA has been added. I'm assuming the contract labor, like the people who come to create a bill of electricity, might be included. But then if there's a lot, I don't think that's a significant change. It's just maybe some kind of information that the income tax department needs in this present time. But if there is any significance of it that I'm not able to realize, any one of you is most welcome to enlighten me. I guess the information is clear until here. Moving on. Now this is an important part. Mumbai, because Mumbai के लिए सबसे important हो जाता है, because आपके यहाँ पे chawl system चलता है, आपके यहाँ पे you know एक common housing होती है जिसमें एक छोटे से घर में, जहाँ पे अगर मैं बात करूँ दिल्ली एनसीआर की साइड पे मे बी 10 लोग भी नहीं रहते हैं, वहाँ पे लगभग 50 लोग बॉम्बे के आसपास की एरियाज में रहते हैं. बट क्या था कि पहला अपन के साथ था कि 1,80,000 से ज्यादा अगर रेंट जाता था, ओनली देन द परव्यू ऑफ टीडीएस यूज्ड टू गेट इनिशिएटेड. 5% रेंट पे टीडीएस होता था जब 50,000 से ज्यादा का रेंट होता था, मंथली रेंट, जो इंडिविजुअल्स और एचयूएफ अपने घर लेते हैं रेंट पे. बट furnishing of PAN number or Aadhaar number of the tenant is mandatory. However, अगर आपने property rent पे दिया है, now they say if available. Now it's a very smart move. Now they can't make it mandatory because maybe maybe the person who lives in your house does not have an Aadhaar card, does not have a PAN card. They have a voter ID, they have a ration card, but they do not have a PAN or Aadhaar card. It's not a mandatory thing. Supreme Court has already declared you have time to get your Aadhars in place. You have time. PAN card again is not a mandatory document for every Indian citizen. Then how will the government know that they had the Aadhaar or PAN available? Now, whenever you apply for GST, have you seen the NOC clearly states that XXX PAN number, X person has decided to run a business from your property. Do you have any objection? And you clearly say, no, we have no objection into the business, running of the business. There's the point where the department will be easily able to catch that if you have rented out a property and you had the PAN card available. And hoke na declare karna is again chori and sinazori. Okay, let's move on. Puneet Gupta ji has another question. Electricity expense for business purpose has to be disclosed or only on house property. Sir, electricity expense more than 1 lakh rupees in a year. It is not on a personal house. It is electricity expense. If you spend more than 1 lakh on electricity, so it is either you have a business or you have a, residential bill of more than 1 lakh. So I'll read the point again for you. Have you incurred expenditure of amount or aggregate of amount exceeding 1 lakh on consumption of electricity during the previous year? I think बहुत clearly यहाँ पे बात कही गई है. बहुत संदेह या बहुत दो राय है नहीं किसी बात में, तो I hope ज़्यादा discussion का point यहाँ बनेगा नहीं. Still, moving on. One needs to disclose the passport number. We've already discussed. I'm so sorry. Right. I think we've already done until here. Okay. We all know that there was a section declared 115 BAA or 115 BAB, Bar and Bob. What exactly was the challenge here? Sir, the concessional rate of tax of 22% was not available on the portal. So this is just again, I said, the portal has been aligned to the books of law, not a change which we should be very excited of. Does not have a huge significance. Just the law has been abided by making relevant changes to the information technology system. So 22% offering, the option has been given as a drop down in the utility. If you're using a software in your office, the recent update is giving a drop down just like the one in the utility. You can go ahead and check your softwares today. Now moving on, new ITR form. Just give me 2 seconds, 2 seconds, please. So as we said that if the person, the assessee, wants to pay additional income tax where there is non-repatriation of primary adjustments, and that is within the prescribed time limit, Then the assessee has to declare that choice in the new ITR form 3, 5, and 6. The details of that has to be given in the new forms. And then now if you have a problem, you need to declare that problem. If there is any notice issued against a director, then the notice or the order, DIN number, and the date of that notice has to be provided by the taxpayer who has replied or received the notice in the section, which includes the date of such notice or order. All right. So basically talking, abhi kya hota tha? Let's talk about why this has been brought in. There used to be notices against directors in different acts, and there were different notices issued, and there was no way that you could extract the information that is there a notice, and if there is a notice, then there was really a very slight possibility that you'll be able to extract exactly what that notice was or when that notice was issued. I mean, this information is required to know the significance. As I've already asked you, ek change tha, I asked all of you. Anybody can enlighten me if there's a huge significance of it. Similarly, this helps us to acknowledge the significance of the notice, that if we have all the information that is required. Now, the due dates for filing ITRs of 1920 is 31st August now, not 31st July. Please make amendments. And yes, the rest is 30th November 2020 is the date. But let us understand, as a professional, as a consultant, I fail to understand, abhi aap log meri help karoge yahan, I fail to understand that एक consultant बेचारा वो इनकम टैक्स की रिटर्न भी नवंबर में करेगा, वो जीएसटी भी नवंबर में करेगा, वो टैक्स ऑडिट भी नवंबर में करेगा, वो ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग का ऑडिट भी नवंबर में करेगा. I mean, does the administration understand that this is practically very difficult? Don't tell us that there are more number of people who can do the job. If somebody wants a specific surgeon to heal their heart, they understand. But if somebody wants a specific consultant to take care of their finances, the government does not understand it. However, as responsible professionals, we need to understand who wants to get our services. So you need to start creating, I mean, this is authority all in our royal hands. Chartered is a word for royals. So again, the royal hands have the royal authority that create your due dates. I mean, you need to reach out to your clients and tell them that for a certain kind of service, you have created a deadline. You cannot say no to a service after that, but at least you can charge a premium fee for an individual coming for their ITR in the month of November, for an individual coming for their tax audit after 15th of November. Because only then we will be able to get our work completed in time with accuracy and completeness as well. That's all that I had for today's session. However, I would definitely love to know if there's any questions that the audience needs to ask me, or there's any point that needs more clarifications, because I have a lot to speak about some points, but the interaction level will create more amount of discussion. So can I have a coordinator to help me get questions from the audience?
Yes, I think already Nikhil sir has already posted one query.
Okay, I'll just take that.
Yeah.
Sir, 30th November is a date for everything right now.
Should I stop the screen sharing? Or
I just have some clarification. 2 seconds. Received. I mean, I have also received it from my partner sitting right next to me. Maybe we have a confusion in our own firm as well. The return filing date is 30th November. We all are sure about it. But there is a confusion about the date of tax audit. And I think we'll have to check that. But if the date of tax audit is 30th of October, then individual ITR for the first time will be filed later than the tax audits, and that makes really less sense. Just a second. Maybe that's just not extended. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. Yeah. So so far the date of tax audit shows to be 30th October, but I mean clearly expect that to be extended because the date of individual ITR filing is 30th November. This does not, this will not create a looping sense. That's why it's going to be definitely exceeded. Moving on.
Hello.
Yes.
Nakulji, am I audible?
Yes, Mr. Podar, you are.
Yeah. In the beginning only, I asked whether in ITR2 in LTCG column we have to mention script files ISIN number. Last year it made optional. This year, yesterday only I was feeling so much time consuming it was.
So far it is mandatory, but we are expecting it to be optional. Eventually it has to be optional, but so far it is mandatorily we have to file it so far. We are doing it. Everybody, even the utility is asking you to do it. So the return is not going to be proceeded. Eventually we are expecting it will be taken away, but abhi tak it's so far it's we have to do, it is mandatorily happening.
It was
Maybe
supposed to.
optional. Yeah?
It was supposed to be pre-filled. That is what the CBDT said last time. It will be pre-filled and it will be taxpayer friendly when you upload the ITR. On the contrary, it is not friendly, sir. It is so time consuming.
I mean, I would have loved to argue about this if I was a government representative. Truly speaking, I don't understand what does the government mean when they say friendly.
Yes.
Maybe there's something else.
Yeah.
Maybe they mean the same things that we have the friendly relations with all our neighbors. So that's maybe their definition of friendly is a little haywire, because this is no long. I mean, GST portal again is the biggest example. People say it's user friendly. I mean, what kind of a friend is that? Seriously,
Correct.
But again, the friendship is getting into a new phase these days. I'll just say that. Yeah, the CBDT made a lot of claims. So far, they just seem to be on paper. They don't seem to be realistic, but we're expecting things to change. I mean, again, hoga kya ki they try to make it user friendly, and then eventually they make it optional, and let's move on. We'll try it next year. We'll have to hope that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else has any questions? Amishji, I just wanted to make a word of appreciation here. This is the first webinar in my life. When I close the number of participants, there were 63. And when I end the seminar, there are 73. Usually it is opposite. You go with 63 and when you come back, it's 36. So wonderful retention, sir. Kudos to the team who has been convening the seminar. Thank you so much. Yes, anybody else has any questions?
There's a query for financial year 18-19. I think that date is 30th September. From due date issue.
So far it's 31st August. I mean, due date's expert is again. Just a second, I'll just have
30th September it is.
That is 30th September. I'm sorry, I have got a due date expert right next to me. My partner is for the first time I'm taking a seminar and he's sitting right next to me. I'll wish he says hi to everybody. You can come and say hi. So that's Gagan Wadwa. He's again he's the guy who makes sure that we have all our returns and everything filed on time and everything. He takes care of these things. I just take care of the knowing the law. He knows when to perform the law. Yes, sir. I think it is 30th 9. Yes, Mr. Vankavala, it is 30th September. But really, there's a lot to discuss into the changes that have come and have taken up. What impact does it have on our working in the coming years? In the coming year, the working has to be different. Your consultation has to be different. and it could change the kind of revenue that you get from your clients already. Because when you work on a different level, you get a revenue of a different level. But then I think if you have any questions regarding the impact of any change, or you want to discuss the impact of any change that has already happened, I would love to go ahead with the discussion.
Foreign residents, residential status change, but that would be in current years, right? The 120
Residential
days.
status change. Residential status change would be like moving on.
Uh, if the person is a non-resident and become a resident in the current year, so 2 years, some exemption was there for RN, ORN.
That's a resident, not an ordinary resident kind of a concept.
Yeah.
Then there are only certain sections. Usual incomes are always taxed by the same, same. The problem comes when it is a foreign income. Indian income is any which way is taxable in India unless there is a DTAA. Indian income will always be taxed in India. So when a non-resident comes and becomes an ordinary resident, if you're asking about their investments, वो उनका जो वहाँ savings या PF account या वो जो fixed deposits को वो लोग कुछ और बोलते हैं London में, I don't remember. I used to work for a few clients who had their accounts in Barclays. Yeah, they call them super saver accounts who have term savings and everything. So if they have such accounts, then the question arises of foreign income. But then R but not OR will have exemptions in the income that they make on foreign lands. When they're ordinary residents, all their incomes are usually taxed in the same country. But even there is an exemption about with the income that they are making from the investments that they made during the time that they were residents. So it's a specific consultation question. I think you can bring it on to a specific email and I can answer the question case wise. Rajesh, the view behind you is beautiful. The view of nature is amazing. I couldn't help but appreciate it.
Second question is relevance of the SFT in 26 AS.
The relevance of SFT. SFT is the I think the what do you call it? The soul of 26 AS after 2020. Sir, SFT, we don't know what exactly SFT is going to be, but what expectations were set and the kind of responses coming from the government are also similar. Like jo apna mutual fund transactions, the transactions that we do in Bitcoin transactions bhi ho sakta hai SFT mein chali jaye, ya property related certain transactions become specified financial transactions. All depends upon what is SFT. If the SFT, because SFT say everything will open up. Why was 26 AS introduced? I mean, I think there are people who are from the time when 26 AS was first introduced, and I think some of us would have also seen the birth of TDS. TDS was not given birth for the receipt of income tax before due date, but for catching the places where people are making incomes and not disclosing them. Similarly, is SFT. If you disclose an SFT, they can catch the incomes not being disclosed or being, under what do you call it? Under reporting of income and misreporting. Yeah. Satisfactory, sir?
One more question is there. Is investment date extended to 31st July or 31st August?
Investment date is extended to 31st August. That's for sure. I'm correct for the first question. Yeah, one question I know correctly. The investment date is extended to 31st August. I mean, I hope the audience will give me a little credit. The government is confusing us to a next level. They're changing dates every day. Yeah, there is a question. I can read the chat as well. In my 26 years, there is a wrong entry being TDS from salary of some AP government department. How to rectify it? Sir, you will have to actually make a claim to the, first of all, you need to write a letter to your assessing officer and as well as write a letter to the department who's giving you salaried income. And have they paid you any amount as well? कोई salary आया भी है आपके पास? Please, I think unmute your mic. This is a serious issue if it's my 26 year or it's just your client's 26 years. Mr. Milwani. No income received and how much I'm sorry if you don't want to answer it on a public platform, but if
Nothing received. Nothing received.
No. If it's I'll not ask the exact amount, but you just being a professional decide if it's a relevantly high amount of income which changes your tax liability. Please get this informed and get the situation rectified. Or otherwise, give a call on my personal number. I'll tell you what we can do about the TDS that has been paid into your account.
Okay, sir.
This is the later day story.
Because nowadays you receive notice in the 143 1A also proposing to add this income. Salary income, if you don't show, they will send a 143 1A notice that why it's not shown.
I'm already an employee. I'm getting a salary. I'm showing that salary. In addition, my 26A shows the salary from some AP government department. It's about 3 lakhs of rupees they are showing as salary income. And they're
I think you should ask them if they're going to pay you the pension after your job is over. If that happens, there's no point. There's no problem in paying a little bit of tax.
I don't have any relation with that AP government. I never left in Bombay.
Oh, that's a wonderful thing. When we come to Bombay, we don't want to leave Bombay. You never left Bombay. I can understand. I don't want to leave Bombay if I come for 2 or 3 days.
So I never got anything from the AP government. No relation with the AP government department.
Not a problem. Okay. You can give me we can look forward. I can help you write the email as well if you want later on. I can share the content what you need to give it to your assessing officer, claiming that this is not your income and I have not received any portion of this income. But again, the moment you file your return, it will give you a warning that the amount of salary that you are showing is more than 10% less than what is in your 26 years.
If it is 10% more than, it's much less than 10%. The additional is less than 10%.
Okay, so you said 3 lakh rupees are coming from AP government.
It's about that, right, sir?
Sure, we can discuss it personally, but you need to go through you need to get to the assessing officer. You need to declare that this is not your income, and also you need to get this department in a loop and understand why exactly are they paying TDS.
Can I call the income tax department somewhere 1800 and get it rectified?
I'll tell you one problem, very practical problem. This is not just with income tax. This is with income tax, GST, food department. 3 departments have had a very bad time within the COVID-19 period. They are outsourcing their call centers. The people who are sitting next to the phone line are extremely unprofessional. They're going to give you solutions that do not exist. They're going to talk about the law that was never made. And the worst part is that in the federal law or the Bank of England law, they have a responsibility that if they give a wrong commitment, then the government will fulfill it. Our government does not have that kind of a commitment. They'll give you a wrong solution, you'll follow the wrong solution, and the government will still charge you the tax and penalty later on. So better off, talk to the assessing officer, use the portal for online assistance. Do not go for the calling. There is an outsourced, I would not even tell you like how less educated are the people who are sitting on calls and giving you advices related to the income tax. Your hard-earned money is being put on stake. And this is a practical situation. So don't call a 1-800 number. Hire somebody from your, somebody around you. Have a friend of yours or a professional CA in practice. Have them visit the income tax department. I think most of our friends are here practicing CAs. Hain sab yahan pe. Just have information and definitely they'll help you out with this. Mr. Milwani?
Okay, next question is by myself only. What is the due date for filing the ITR of Cooperative Housing Society?
Housing Society. ITR filing the due date is 30th November, all of them. Yeah, perfect.
Sure. And next question is, if Cooperative Housing Society filed the return after the due date, is ATP exemption is not available?
ATP exemption. Just a second. Totally got me off guard. Just 2 seconds. I'll just have a look.
It's a interest part. Cooperative bank interest is exempt under section ATP. Any housing society who is earning a cooperative, from the cooperative bank, the interest on FDs that are exempt under section ATP.
Okay, is this the one which you? Okay, I understand.
And only nationalized bank interests are chargeable.
2 seconds. Written in
to tax.
Okay, let me tell you. I'll have to go through the notifications. ATP is something that I've not even, I've got the question for the first time. I'll reply to this question on an email because I need to go through this myself. But even if it is, with a lot of belief, I'm telling you, everything is being extended and the notices are totally effective. They're wholesome notices. They're inclusive. So they will take the benefits as well into the, the benefit will also not lapse because of this extension.
ATP it has a condition to file in time, I think. Whatever
ATP has, but even the so does the carry forward of losses as well had a condition of filing in time. But what is in time? In time has changed, no? The government changes the in time.
So what would be the due date for TDS returns or TDS deposit? It would be 30th November. It would be allowed as an expenditure, or 31st October the tax audit date. If the TDS is deposit
Any which ways, if you if they have not paid the TDS, you're not going to allow it in the tax audit. No CA is going to allow it.
Correct.
So the date, ideally, again, this is the problem here. 30th November is the date of filing. So the words clearly state the date of filing. What they can do is they can have them disallowed in the return of income in the tax audit report, then get them allowed in the income tax return, and later on get into the case and get this sorted. I mean, there could be a difference between what you have filed in the return and what was allowed in the tax audit if there's a change of circumstances. But there'll be a scrutiny for sure. But again, you're allowed to do it. Nobody says.
You straight away get a notice of 143(1). This is mismatch. There's a mismatch in this year and there.
Absolutely, you will get a notice, but you'll have the answer. I mean, that's the beautiful part. So I guess
just to summarize, 31st July was the last date for making investments for financial year 1920. 31st July 2020, correct? And 30th September is the date of filing of returns for 2019. And
1920, yes.
And balance sheet data is not extension as still, but this is out of context and today's topic. But so 30th September companies you have to file for the AGM. 30th September is the due date.
AGM ka date by 30th September, yeah.
Correct. And so 31st October is the tax audit due date, and for everyone it is 31st November. 30th November is the last date for filing return for everyone.
Filing of tax, yeah. I mean, I would just suggest, Amish ji, we can have a separate seminar on due dates this year. And I can make a separate, I'll not make a PPT. I will charge a bill on the Andheri study circle. We'll get an animation done. We'll have a professional animation hire and we'll get a cartoon made about the due dates. I mean, even then it will be hard to understand. The due dates are running all left and right. I'm telling you, this is going to be more popular than the Ramayana sometimes.
Like we had one seminar only where half an hour was spent on what the due date for GST returns.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, due dates is becoming a confusing concept, but I'll just make a joke out of nowhere. I mean, I know it's a serious topic, but I'm making a joke. Just open your WhatsApp. Every chartered accountant qualified in the last 3 years is sending you due dates. You just need to make sure to whom to trust. And even that is sending you from somebody he trusts. So yeah, due dates are, again, a very confusing concept these days. So just ask somebody who practices exactly with the due dates. We'll have a proper branch of ICAI practice in due dates. Not learning the due dates, but how to practice in dynamic due dates. I would want this seminar to be happening for students.
Keeping a track on the due dates.
Yeah. And this seminar has to be done for students, not for members. बचपन से सिखाओ, हमें तो समझ में अभी नहीं आने वाला है ये क्या चल रहा है. ठीक है, जो आ रहा है आने दे, ठीक है. This is the due date. Okay, no, this is the due date. We just keep on writing on the whiteboards these days.
Any more questions? Otherwise, we can end the session.
Or any other topic, what point, some point if has been skipped by the speaker during the session, you can take it now. We can just then finish. Anything else, Shabdu would like to highlight, or we can then?
I would like to highlight the focus should be less on like the. I mean, we have a lot of questions on due dates right now, and we also have a query of what is the change and how are we supposed to follow the change in the filing of return. I would just like to highlight that the focus has to be how our accounting and our consultancy has to be next year. This year, say, our consultancy has to change. Like aligning the number of units consumed of the electricity to the number of units produced of the output. I mean, that is one thing which people are making a lot of. That's a huge mistake. We don't realize that something which can always be questioned. We're always aligning the electricity expense. Like with one of my clients, the electricity expense is 23%. वो 1993 से 23% चल रहा है. Electricity महंगी हुई, units पे बिजली कम consume करने वाली machine आई, everything happened, but that is fixed to 23%. Everybody knows that is a little, there's a gochi. So we just need to make sure that that kind of thing is more into our focus, that our books are more authentic, and we can have a more stronger stand before the authorities. I mean, I am just giving you from my experience that I have with standing before the authorities, that if you are coming up with a logic which makes 100% sense, there's a very less chance that you're going to have a hard time with the authority. That's all I have to say, Michi. That's probably it.
So 234C interest, last they had extended, reduced the interest rate for 234C. So
Yeah.
how do you work it out for advance tax due dates? How will you charge the interest? Or
This is a very difficult question, because that is something I can explain, but that is going to take a lot of time and a lot of things even I'm confused about. So it is very easy when it is a one-to-one conversation. Maybe Aditya, we can have a video call personally and we can have it because this is a wonderful discussion. But again, having this in a seminar could distract most of the audience, because we have to बारीकी से पकड़ना पड़ेगा what law says and then what does the calculation say. तो दोनों को एक alignment पे लाना पड़ेगा, and I know that's a question which is wonderful again for a smaller audience.
thanks.
Fine. Now, finally concluding the session, I request CA Rajesh Podarji to kindly give the hearty vote of thanks to the speaker.
Thank you, Amish. Thank you, CA Nakul Arora ji. Friends, Nakul Arora had some personal emergencies today. Still, he had made a commitment for today's AOSC Zoom seminar. This shows his professional commitment. Friends, now I, Rajesh Podar, on behalf of Andheri Oshiwara CPE Study Circle, presents a hearty vote of thanks to today's speaker, CA Nakul Arora, with a loud applause. Thank you, friends. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Nakulji.
Thank you, Amici. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye. We end the session. Tomorrow the session is at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on companies. नकुल जी पीपीटी बाद में शेयर कर देना.
I will for sure. I had to do it.